I didn't expect this, but the Mammotion Luba 3 all-wheel drive might be the most polished robot mower setup that I've ever used, and it cuts way faster than I ever thought possible. So I've reviewed a few robot lawnmowers over the past year, and I have to say I've really enjoyed my experience with the Mammotion Luba 3 all-wheel drive. The on-screen controls for mapping were incredibly precise without feeling jumpy or overly sensitive, which made the setup smooth and easy. I was also impressed by how quickly it mows and how long it can cut on a single charge. And honestly, I didn't expect it to leave stripes this clean, but it absolutely delivered. In this video, I'll walk you through everything: what comes in the box, the setup process, key features, and my overall experience with the mower. Before we go any further, let's cut to the chase. Here's the lawn before the first cut. It's a bit tall, but you can see that it's thick and healthy. And here it is after just one mow. I set the height to 3.5 inches for the first pass, and just look at those stripes. Checking out what you get in the box, you find the robot lawnmower itself, 2 orange side guards and the front bumper that need to be attached using the included screws. The front bumper also has a small connector to plug in. Mammotion even includes a nice screwdriver, which makes installation quick and easy. You'll also see the RTK antenna, and technically you don't really need to use this anymore. Mammotion recently rolled out a firmware update that allows for net RTK. This uses a network reference station over 4G or Wi-Fi instead. But if you prefer the RTK antenna, it is still an option you can use. Next up is the base station, which acts as a mower's home charging dock. It comes with about a 15 to 20 foot power cord, and you secure it in place using the included plastic lawn screws. Mammotion also included a branded cleaning brush, a set of replacement blades, a spare security key, and the owner's manual. Looking at the robot lawnmower, you can tell right away it is a very industrial design. Honestly, it almost looks like an F1 car. Up top, there's a 360-degree LiDAR sensor for navigation. In the front, you've got the AI camera system, and as a backup, the front bumper acts as a physical sensor. If the camera doesn't detect something, the lawnmower will gently bump into and recognize there's an obstacle. It's also equipped with those beefy wheels for the all-wheel drive system, giving it a really capable stance. Check this out. It even has suspension. Yes, we're talking about a robot lawnmower with actual suspension. Back on top, you'll find a few physical control buttons. This includes an emergency stop button and the rain sensor. Setting up the Mammotion Luba 3 and pairing it with the smartphone app was pretty straightforward. I placed the base station where I wanted to put it, set the mower on the dock, held the power button to power it on, and within seconds it was ready to go. Once it powered up, I tapped the add button in the app and it quickly found my mower via Bluetooth. After pairing it, I checked for firmware updates, and just like that, I was ready to start mapping the lawn. I split the yard in 4 different areas: the backyard, the side yard, the front yard, and a small patch by the sidewalk along the street. I started with the backyard since that's where I placed the charging base. The app prompted me to begin mapping, and once I hit start, the mower rolled off the base and spun around, positioning itself, and then handed the controls over to me. Using the on-screen controls, I drove the mower to a nearby starting point and tapped start. This way I could mark the location. From there, I guided it around the backyard to map the boundaries. The controls use 2 joysticks, one for forward and reverse, and the other one is for left and right, which I actually found easier to use than just a single joystick. When navigating in the curves, the controller felt very responsive and made it quick to map everything out. This mower does have an auto mapping feature, but since the yard that I have here doesn't have any clear boundaries like a fence, I chose to map the yard manually. Once I made it back to the starting point, the app asked if I wanted to finish the map, and then I was ready to move on to the next area. A few tips that I picked up along the way: if you have a sidewalk or a driveway with no drop-off, I highly recommend mapping onto the sidewalk and the driveway, so that way you can make sure that the mower cuts the edges that it needs. You can always come back and tweak it if needed. One feature I really like is the ability to partially remap an area. If you don't like a section of the area that you mapped, you can simply redraw the part without affecting the rest of the map. There's also a straight line adjustment tool that lets you pick 2 points to create a perfectly straight border. And create an area that ends up being too large, you can easily split it into smaller sections without starting over. Once I was ready to start mowing, this is where you dial in all the settings for the job. At this point, you can choose either a one-time mow or set up an automation schedule that tells it exactly when to mow and which areas to cover. Either option then takes you to the area selection screen, which you will choose which zones you want to mow at this time. If you're mowing multiple areas, you can simply select the ones that you want to include. Once you've selected the area or areas, the app will show the total square footage that it's going to cover and the estimated runtime it's going to take. From there, you get into the mowing settings. You can adjust the cut height, which goes up to 3.9 inches. You also set a mowing speed, the cut path spacing, which controls overlap, and the mowing direction. You also get to choose a cutting pattern. Normal zigzag for standard back and forth cutting, crosshatch for double pass in different directions, or a perimeter mow only. Then you can set up how many laps it takes around the perimeter. You'll also be able to see how many no-go zones that area has, and you can decide if it starts with the perimeter first and mows the main area last, or mows the area first and finishes with the perimeter. Once everything is set, you're ready to go, and you can have this thing start mowing. So after mapping this out, even with 70% battery remaining, it was still able to finish my backyard on a single charge. It covered 5,000 square feet on what was left of that battery. That said, it's equipped with a fast adaptive 210 watt charger that's 16.7% more powerful than the previous model. I honestly couldn't believe how quickly this mower got the job done. And again, all of that was on a single charge. That was even using the middle speed setting, so it could even go faster if needed. What really impressed me was how well it handled the hill in the backyard. It climbed and turned without any issues thanks to the all-wheel drive system. And for reference, this mower can handle slopes up to 80% or about 38.6 degrees. You also get two turning options. You get the zero turn mode or a multi-point turn. I chose the multi-point turn. That's what I wanted to use on my setup. It may take a little bit more time, but I felt like it was a better option for me. When it finishes mowing or needs a recharge, you can choose which path it follows when it goes back to the charging station, whether it goes perimeter back or if it just goes straight through your lawn back to the charging station. With its tri-fusion positioning system, it can also detect objects or animals in your yard. You can see here it navigated around the basketball left out in the lawn, and here avoiding a tree while mowing. For any areas that you don't want it to enter within a mapping zone, you can set a no-go zone. I created a couple for trees, one with a mulch area and two with a rock edge or rock area. I wanted to avoid these because I didn't want the mower going through those. Once you select the no-go zone, the app has you drive them over to a starting point near the area, and then you select the starting point and then drive around the boundary to the starting point again and say this is the end point. Once that's set, the mower knows not to enter that area or mow inside that restricted area. Now, as far as the cut quality goes, this robot lawnmower really impressed me with how fast it moves and how wide of a path it covers. What really stands out is how well it stripes the yard. It leaves a clean, professional cut that makes it look like a lawn company came through and mowed your lawn for you. And the best part is, you're just relaxing while it does all the work and you're not paying someone to mow it for you. Here are my final thoughts. This has probably been the best experience I've had with a robot lawnmower so far. From how easy it was to manually control during mapping, to how fast it cuts, to how long it runs on a single battery charge. It all comes together really well. I really like how easy it is to modify the maps after that they've already been created. You can make these small adjustments with ease. The ability to create perfect straight lines without having to manually drive the lawnmower perfectly straight is another big plus. This mower is super quiet, which means it can mow even at night without being disruptive. And I'm honestly glad I don't really have to rely on the RTK system for positioning anymore, since that's often one of the biggest pain points with robot lawnmowers. I was able to ditch the RTK antenna for good. The all-wheel drive setup is another standout feature. I was genuinely impressed that it could climb the slope in my backyard and it still was able to turn around without any issues up there. Overall, this robot lawnmower is going to be tough to beat, and I'm really excited to see what they come out with next. If you found this video helpful, please leave me a like and feel free to ask any questions in the comment section below. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing for more tech reviews, home automation, home and automotive how-to videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.